All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. I was so off of my schedule since I was gone last week. I'm like, what day is it? I don't know. But nevertheless, I'm really glad to be here with you all again. We're also like well into August. What a trip, huh? Yes, Nicolette, I'm relieved. Good morning, Nicolette. It's official. We're out of getting out of retrograde today. Thank you, Abby. I did them fresh yesterday, so you're catching them at a really good time. Thanks for appreciating. Hey, Holly. Good morning. So it's time. I'm going to talk like super briefly about our schedule for this week, some things we have coming up, and then we'll get going because I try to catch you guys at the beginning since I know not everybody can stay for the whole time. So this month and next month are a little funky because I have a lot of dance performances and things going on. So I'm unable to do as much as normal, but great things happening. So this week we'll have a nice full schedule. So we're here today. It's flow. We'll have flows each Monday until the rest of this month. I'll be teaching my reset class as well as a bar class on Thursday. So the reset is the same time as this class. So 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock for my East Coasters. The Thursday class, our bar class, will be at noon Pacific time, so 3 p.m. for my East Coasters. So come join me if you want to. And if you're not a member of my Patreon, I'm actually doing a really awesome end of summer sale right now. So if you've never been a member before, you can join for your first month for half off. So take advantage of that if you want to come hang with us. And your membership will start on the day you join, right? So it won't be like cutting you off if you join a little bit later. I have the flyer up here. Roxira, this is like my next big performance I have coming up that I'm putting all of my energy into. LA people, this will be in North Hollywood at Evolution Dance Studio. So come join me if you want to take classes either with me or some of the other headliners that we have, Sonia Ochoa or Idenia Archuleta. Two amazing performers, first of all. I'm so excited to both be a performer amongst them, and I'm also signed up for their workshop. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you, Holly. I do love this strappy bra. It's kind of perfect for holding a microphone, so we're locked in right there. Hi, Stephanie. Good morning. I missed you too. I'm glad we're all back. So yeah, that's our main things for this August. September, I've got some really fun projects I'm bringing to fruition that I talked about in my Patreon post for this class. So kind of having to keep it under wraps until they announce it, but it's happening. Yay! Yeah, Edenya's amazing. She does the like hip hop popping stuff and she's incredible. I haven't taken like a hip hop or popping class in a long time, so I'm gonna be up in that class probably looking an ass, but I don't care. My little theme lately has been embrace your cringe. Embrace being bad at something. We all gotta be bad at something sometimes. That's just a part of being human. Just have fun, right? So for class today, I wanna keep things kind of stretchy. Hey Presley, yes, you're on time because I'm over here yapping. I want to have kind of like a stretchy class today. So we'll do a little bit of flow stuff, but we'll also kind of be doing some grounded work. So if you have it or have them, some blocks, always great. I also want to do like some oh my God, I'm already feeling it right now, fuck. Some shoulder flossing, so I really wanna use a strap or a rubber band if you have one. Yeah? Yes, to be cringe is to be free, Abby. You get it. All right, let's do it. I can already tell I'm not happy with my mat setup, so I'm gonna go adjust it. I'm gonna turn down my desktop audio so you guys can move around to whatever you wanna move around to. Pick what you want, okay? All right, let me transition over. Welcome to the corner, the cutie corner. Yes. All right. Let me adjust this little Matty-o, Daddy-o. That looks good. I'm so excited to stretch right now. Been super dedicated, going to the gym quite frequently. I've got some bendy dance performances coming up, so we need to stretch, all right? So like I said, first some shoulder work, which is what we're gonna start with. I'm gonna work with this broken rubber band that one of my students broke for me. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. But you can use like a fabric strap or whatever. I've got my little corky blocks over here. And I'm just gonna leave those at the front of my mat. Let's start with some shoulder flossing, shall we? All right, so you'll take your band or your strap, grab up on it, wider than your shoulder width distance. You can work a little bit tighter in if you're working with something that has some give, yeah? So we'll take it up, up and overhead. Classic shoulder floss situation. Love this for me. So like I mentioned, I've been going to the gym frequently because I have some goals in mind, okay? And yesterday, because my lovely husband was there with me, I was being very brave and I said, I want to do bench press. I haven't bench pressed in years. I don't know. It's just not an exercise I gravitate to. So your girl is sore in the front. Now, I'm totally fine if you want to flare your ribs out, open up your chest, open up your back. But you can also try a couple nice and knitted in, so a little bit of both. All right, extra credit movement and motion if you want. Take your strap in these kind of circular motions. I like to bend my knees with it. And reverse. Good, last two. And last one. Nicely done. All right, let's ditch our straps. Bye. And just kind of stand towards the middle of your mat and let's just roll out our wrists. I have some little fisties. And we'll reverse. All right, shake out those hands. Next, we're gonna go into a chest expansion grip, okay? So potentially that strap that you just dropped may need to come back into your paws if you're really, really, really tight in the front of your shoulders, okay? If not, you can bring your hands behind you, interlace your fingers, press the palms together. Now try to lengthen out through your arms, lift up through your chest. Take a breath in. With your exhale, hinge forward. You can bend your knees as much as you need. Hopefully you've digested your breakfast or lunch enough. Ooh. And taking those arms up and overhead. Good, maybe you want to lean off to one side, straightening out the opposite leg. Same thing to the other side. Nice, let's release. Planting your hands down towards the floor, let's step out your feet so that you are off your mat wide to the right and left hand side. Bend your knees from side to side, give your groin a little stretch. Party. Next time your right leg is bent, let's stay there. Left hand comes to the floor and we'll reach our right arm up. Good, let's do the other side. You can cross step your arms, bend into your left knee, reach your left arm up. All right, let's pull it back towards center. Hang heavy here, right in the middle. You can grab for opposite elbows. You can have your hands on the blocks or the floor, whatever makes it work for you. All right, let's step our feet in and lower our knees down towards the floor. So tabletop, all fours position. Let's work through our spine. So cat-cows. Reaching your heart space forward, taking yourself into a back bended position. And then round and contract the spine, cat back shape. Three more. Last one. Good, let's neutralize our spine. Walk the knees out wider, sit your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Stretch your arms for the front of your space. All right, let's take it into a little side stretch. Walk your hands over towards the left-hand side of your mat or even off of your mat. Ooh, my lats. Looks like we need to do some lat stretches today. All right, let's take ourselves back through center. Same thing, other side. Now, while today will be a more stretchy focused class, I feel like people usually just kind of associate like, oh, stretchy, super easy, but we're gonna throw in a couple of difficult stretches today. All right, let's walk it back to center. Adjust your knees so that they're closer together, as well as your ankles. And let's take the arms down by our side. Be a rock. It's not a boulder, it's a rock. Oh man. It's funny how I have a hard time remembering what I ate 3 days ago, but for some reason I can remember SpongeBob episodes from 15 years ago. All right. From your tailbone, let's roll ourselves all the way up to a kneeling shape. And let's stay here for a couple beats, stretching out the tops of your feet. If you're feeling the stretch, great. Keep doing what you're doing. If you can't feel the stretch, maybe you want to give your tummy a little bit of contraction and try lifting up your knees in like an alternating way, or giving your feet a little stretch by lifting up both. Both. All right. Let's bring ourselves back forward, especially if your knees were up. We'll come through high plank as a transition shape and then send ourselves back into downward facing dog. So first one of these, feel free to pedal out your legs, waggle your hips out, do whatever you need to do to feel like you can get into this position with a little more ease and a little more comfort. Yeah, now a couple notes about technique here. If your shoulders are tight, you can walk them out a little bit wider, but whatever your width, whatever your hand orientation is, do try to bring your ears in alignment with your biceps. All right, now with our spine, we want to have a nice long spine. You can try to extend your sit bones up towards the ceiling behind you, but that requires a lot of flexibility in your hamstrings. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to in order to do that. Don't worry about touching your heels to the floor. That's totally just style points, okay? Now let's spend one more breath here. And out. Let's look to the front of our mats. Step your feet to the front, and let's roll ourselves all the way up to standing. Now, if you want to be a traditionalist, feet can come together, or you can keep them just like this. Sweep your arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale, breath. Exhale, hands come to heart center, Samastitihi, tailbone long, core on, quads on. Inhale, sweep the arms back up. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge with a flat spine as far as you can. Round out at that last moment. Halfway lift. Activate your back line. Plant your hands, step back, and we're going to go through a chaturanga. Glide forward. You can tap your knees down to the floor and keep them there as you bend your elbows to 90 degrees. Low cobra is a really nice place to start, or if you're feeling ready for your upward facing dogs, press through the arms straight. Only thing touching the floor is your feet and hands. Downward facing dog, lift your hips up and back. All right, we're gonna flow through that 2 more times. Lift up your heels, bend your knees, see the front. Step with your opposite dominant foot. Halfway lift, breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to standing. Inhale, breath. Exhale, Samastitihi. Turn on the core, turn on the legs. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale, breath. Exhale, plant your hands, step back. See if you can step back with that opposite dominant foot once more. Chaturangas. Exhale, down dog. All right, we're gonna go for one more. You have the option on this one to hop to the front, or you can take some little tippy toes. Lift heels, bend knees. I almost lost my headphones. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale, breath. Exhale, plant your hands. Maybe you try hopping back. upward facing. Exhales, downward facing dog. Reset with me, 3 more breaths. After this last one, let's again lift your heels, bend your knees, either hop or tippy toe your way to the front of the mat. Halfway lift, inhale breath. Exhale, forward fold. Rise up to standing. Inhale breath. With your exhale, bring hands to heart center and let's sit back into a chair position. So bend your knees, send your hips back behind your heels. Take another inhale breath here. With your exhale, let's twist. You can go for an open arm position if you don't want to compress too much, or prayer style. Elbow between the knees or to the outside of the right thigh. Hang with me one more time. Inhale, breath, and exhale out. Come back through center, breath in. Exhale, twist the same way you did on the other side. So either open up through your arms or bring yourself back into that prayer twisted position. One more time, breath in and breath out. Now inhale, bring yourselves back to center. With your exhale, let's grab our blocks and step back into a low lunge position. Left foot is at the back, right foot is at the front. Now, since it's our first time in a lunge position, I'm sure this feels great for you right now. For me, every time I first wake up and start doing lunges, I'm like, oh my God. So we're just gonna take our time here in this first one, feel out, stay present with the discomfort, and then we'll floss it. Take it back into a hamstring stretch. Your hamstrings hopefully feel a little more ready. And then back forward into your lunge. Back and forth on your own, 10 seconds. All right, the next time you're back in your hamstring stretch, let's hold here and take it into a twist. Right arm reaches up. Let's take one more breath in. And with your exhale, return your hand back down to the block. Now rebend into your front knee, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and let's adjust your left heel down to the floor. You're gonna have a little bit of a turnout with this one. I'm gonna move my block that's under my right hand to the inside of my right leg because we're gonna start in a side angle position, pretty deep. If you do prefer the version where you're up, elbow to thigh for a little more height, go for it. Now, I want you to notice here if your right leg is pinned at your elbow. See if you can activate the outsides of your glutes and just barely hover it out and away from your right elbow. Good, pelvic floor on, take a breath in. And with your exhale, bring yourself up to Virabhadrasana 2. Take your eye line over your right middle finger. And all that open hip goodness we set up, keep it, maintain it. Flip your right palm. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, tap right fingertips to block. Inhale, reverse warrior. Tap hand to block. One more time, reverse warrior. Tap hand to block and see if you can go into full extended. So try to bring your bicep by your ear. One breath in. And exhale, bring it back to 2. Now straighten out through your right leg. Reverse triangle, reach your right arm up and back. With your exhale, let's take it all the way down to our low lunge. So find both of your blocks. There's a reason they're at the inside of your right leg. I want everybody to heel toe their right foot towards the outer edge of their mat and lower your blocks to either medium, low, or completely ditch them and bring hands to floor. Kind of a nice active lizard lunge position here. All right, now 2 options here. If you want to keep things nice and chill, you can lower the right knee down and just go for winging the right leg out and back in. So I'm just rolling from a flat foot to the outer edge of my foot, right? If you're wanting to go deeper than that, we're going to do horizon lunge. So I like to do this with my hands on the floor and starting with an active left leg. So we're going to turn and rotate. Right arm reaches for the back, hips kind of curving down towards the floor, yeah? Bring it up and back into your horizon. A couple more. Nice. Let's all take ourselves back. And we'll go into a downward facing dog from here. All right, let's do all that on the other side, shall we? Work your way back to the front. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rise up to standing, inhale, breath. Exhale, bring hands to heart center, chair position. Bend into the knees, sit on the back. All right, take an inhale breath here. Exhale, open or prayer twist to your left. If you're working those twists, try your hardest to keep your knees together, right? So watch out for slippery little knees. Inhale, breath. Exhale out. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Again, either open or prayer style. Last 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself back to center. Exhale, let's bring our hands down, back onto our blocks. Step your right foot back. Left foot is forward. Lower down into your first lunging kneel. Oh, buddy, this side feels interesting. All right, let's start to go through our floss. So lengthening out through your left leg and taking it back forward. Try to synchronize your movement with your breath as much as you can. All right, next time you are in your half split position or hamstring stretch, we added in a twist. So take your left arm up towards the ceiling. Try to maintain as much length as you can in your left side waist as you're doing this so you're not all hiked up. We're trying to be square, or as square as possible. Take a breath in, and with your exhale, let's return. Left hand onto your blocks. Rebend front knee, tuck back toe, lift back knee. And let's get into our side angle, side 2. So right toes are going to adjust out, heel to the floor. Left hand works onto your block. Reach the right arm up. Now, same little notes, right? It's a subtle shift to do, but think about trying to hover the left knee off of your left elbow. So you're really activating into the outside of your hip. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring yourself up into your 2. Take your eyes over the left side middle finger. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, tap finger to block. Side angle. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, tap to block. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle, option for your full extended. So reaching the bicep by the ear, creating a long line from middle finger to your right heel. One more breath in and breath out. Inhale, reverse triangle, straighten through your left leg, reach the left arm up and back. And with your exhale, let's take it all the way down to our low lunge. Wider version, so lizard lunge setup. You can stay as is on your blocks, lower levels. And then your options, like the other side, go like this. You wing your leg. Or you join me in some horizon. So, in our horizon lunge, we start with a twist, and then we move our feet, all 10 toes facing the long side of that mat. Reach up and over, back in your horizon. Last one. Good, take it up and over. Step back, downward facing dog. All right, kiddos. Let's come down to our knees, grab a little bit of water. Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna take ourselves into the next parts of our floor routine, which is going to include some deeper stretches, right? For these, if you have really sensitive knees, you may want to grab a little knee padding, whether that's like a towel or like a foam piece, whatever you got. We've got blocks to also support if you need it, or intensify. Waggles my eyebrows at you. Okay, so first things first, let's come to a front-facing or side-facing profile. And we're gonna work with some windshield wipers on our knees. You can be hands to heart center or hands behind you to support. So rotating one knee down, rotate through the other. Now, if you notice right away that you're like scooting and moving around, when you come through center, pull your belly in and like roll back into a contracted state. Hopefully that will stop that process from happening. Unless you are trying to move around. I won't stop you. All right, now the next time you're over towards the right, let's stay. Take a little hip stretch. If you want more, you can rotate all the way around and just bring yourself into a half pigeon. I'm gonna opt for an active half pigeon because it's gonna really help with some of our big end shapes. I really want my back line to be active here. All right. Let's come through center. Do that same exact stretch you just opted for on the other side. So hinging over, finding a deer position, right? Or rotate around, find your half pigeon. I went for active half pigeon, so I'm on a tucked back toe and I've got my knee up. Really want to focus on my hip flexor, being open and my posterior chain being active. Okay, let's bring ourselves all the way through center and open up into a straddle shape. Yay! Now this doesn't have to be your widest straddle. If anything, I recommend going a little bit in from what your widest is. Let's start with some side stretching. Reach up and over towards your right foot. Come through center, up and over to the other side. We're just gonna flow it out just to get us ready. Then we'll try to hold and go for some depth. One more to the right. One more flowing to the left. And then let's head over to the right and try to hold in your maximum depth, right? So maybe you're able to grab for a foot. If you're not able to, but you want a little help, maybe you grab your strap or your band, loop it underneath the ankle, grab it with that hand that's supposed to be working up and over, and you've given yourself, a connection point to work with. Now, I try to think about anchoring the opposite butt cheek as far down as I can while I'm doing this. We'll go for one more breath here. And let's bring it back through center. Same thing. Other side. Woo. Something about side stretching, like it seriously makes me feel like I'm breaking through ancient artifacts. I know that doesn't make any sense at all, but it just feels like I'm making archaeological discoveries in my side. This is what happens when you teach and you're just basically talking to yourself. Just everything comes out. All right, now again, if you used an assist on the other side, strap your shit up. Oof. Last 3, last 2, and 1. Ugh, damn. Okay, now it's time to go down the middle. 2 options. My friends that want to chill out and relax in your life because you deserve it. You're just gonna come down the middle as far as you feel comfortable. Maybe you want to block it up. Right? Give yourself a little lift. But what I'm gonna do is some straddle good mornings. So we're gonna work a little pancake straddle time. So I'm gonna work arms open. You can go hands behind your head. We'll hinge forward as far as we can and then bring it back up. You can point or flex here. Total of 10, so this is 5. Good, 4, 3, 2, and 1. On the last one, let's hold 10 seconds. We're looking pancakey. All right, let's bring it up. Scoop up your knees. And bring it all the way and hug yourself. You're gonna be just fine. All right, let's do a little knees over toes, and then we'll get into the big papa shit I've been talking about getting to, which is stretching your quads. Blink, 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 blink. Okay, so knees over toes. I like this one because it also stretches my shoulders and my biceps and that kind of front line of my arm area. So my hands are gonna come behind me, my feet are on the floor. I'm gonna push, hover my butt, lift my heels, and then try to take my knees forward. If you're able to, you can tap your knees to the floor, shift forward and backwards a couple times. All right. Let's come to a kneel. Same thing, I'm going to hydrate to prepare myself for this. This is where, if you need some shit for your knees, grab it. All right, we're gonna keep it basic to start. So we'll step our right foot forward in front of us. We're gonna kind of do like your traditional, I guess, yoga style quad stretch, and then change it up and switch it up. So here, play with just bending and returning your toes to the floor. That's it, just see what it do today. If you're feeling good, right hand reaches back and tries to capture your left foot. Now, I wouldn't just call this like a total and complete quad stretch. This is kind of a little bit of both of quad and hip flexor. I mean, all of them are, but we're gonna try to get a little more focused on our quads here in a second. So stay with me, last 3. Last 2. And 1, release. Give yourself a little break by lengthening through your right leg. Here's where I'm going to definitely introduce some padding for myself. Okay, so I'm just gonna double up my mat here, and I'm gonna pull into a tighter lunge, so a 90-90 lunge, okay? Now this does require a bit of balance, so if you do need to hold on to something like a wall or whatever, a bar, a chair with your right hand, but we're gonna go same hand, same foot. So start to bring your left heel towards your butt. Capture that. Try to focus on lengthening through your tailbone while you're here. Now, if you're not needing the balance, you're feeling okay, maybe both hands come back to that foot. Ten seconds. Last 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's release, tuck your toes. Give yourself a little hamstring stretch in the interim. And we'll do that on the other side. So, twisty version first. Your left foot is the front, your right foot is back. We'll begin with just the little bendies and extendies. All right. Now let's see if we can keep it bent, reach back. Left hand tries to find your right foot. Let's release that. Now we're gonna shorten it up. I'm gonna bring in my mat, extra knee padding, because we're going square. So, you're in a tighter lunge, okay? If you need support, support yourself. Same foot, same hand. Maybe both if you're feeling super balanced today. Now, if you're having some difficulty, like for any reason, because I have to remind myself of this, if you're losing the stretch while you're here and you're just like, I don't know, I don't really feel anything, focus on your posterior tilt. So tuck the tailbone underneath, lengthen and active. That's your missing key. Four, 3, 2, and 1. Release. All right, tuck your toes, lift it up, give yourself a little moment here. All right, now let's take some time getting more into our shoulders and our backs. I want to give you guys a decent amount of options here. Since we just did all of that kneeling stuff, if you do want to take a full break from being on your knees, you can totally do this standing. All you need is like a chair back or a desk or a bar or a wall, right? We're going to work some cat-cow back or cat back stretching on walls or your objects, right? So hands on, right, stepping back, opening up through your shoulders, and just working a little bit of forwards and backwards, yeah? I have a little desk edge right here, right? Just anything that's going to take your shoulders into this bigger stretch position. If you're just in the open, and you don't care, you're essentially doing puppy pose. That's where we're going next, okay? Now, we're gonna work our articulatory puppies first, just like you're doing on a wall, just like you're doing on a chair or whatever. I've pretty much been doing like puppy exercises consistently for the past maybe 2 years or so with Irene. And although my back isn't where I really want it to be, the improvement though in my back, and not just in its flexibility, but even in my muscular composition, it's very, 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 I can tell oh, this does work. So if you've been having postural issues, upper back pain, neck pain, you need to exercise your back. I'm sorry. I wish there was a simpler, easier way, but you just have to exercise your goddamn back. All right, keep going, a couple more times. Wish I could just shout it from the rooftops. And I guess my YouTube channel, my Patreon is my rooftop. Let's hold our back stretch next, right? So if you're finding this is very easy for you when you're on the floor, you could even add some blocks underneath your hands. Even though I'm vibing to music, I'm just gonna remove this so I can really snuggle in. All right. Let's come out of this Work your way all the way down to your tummy. Let's take a little upright moment here. Kind of in a lazy little sphinx position. This is tummy time for adults, by the way. All right, let's come all the way down to the floor. And we're going to extend our right arm out to our right-hand side and do a rollover. So palm to the floor, fixed, in alignment with your shoulder. Hand position does not change, it does not rotate. You bend your left leg, roll over onto your right hip. All right, back through center. Let's do that same thing to the other side. So extend your left arm out. My hand's probably off camera, but flat to the floor. Roll over onto your left hip. Oh, I just had the best lumbar crack. Thank you. Okay, let's bring ourselves back to center. Oof. Okay, I kind of have to pee, so this is going to be interesting, but we're going to go for a floor bow. This means you're going to be reaching back for both of your feet, okay? We'll kick up. We'll see how high we can get, okay? So, again, all the way flat. Friends that are on a pretty hard floor, just before we go. This can be very uncomfortable on your pubic bone or your hip bones, especially if you're pretty lean. So if you do want some padding, like having even just a blanket underneath can make this really comfortable. I'm actually gonna do that, because even though I'm on a thick mat, having a little something is helpful. Oh, Nicolette, I see that. Got a nice little pop at the beginning. I love that. All right, so this is my trusty yin blanket. But today, she's gonna help me in floor bow. All right. So we'll come all the way flat, bend into both of your knees, reach back, try to capture your ankles. Take a breath in. With your exhale, kick your feet into your hands. Let that pull you back. And then see if you can engage your butt cheeks and hamstrings and kick the feet up. I like to rock, and I'm only rocking because I have a blanket. All right, let's relax. Now, if grabbing for both of your feet was pretty easy there, I want to give us the option, since we have already done our quads, for some frog, okay? So let's do single-sided first. Come up onto your right elbow. You're looking over your shoulder, back at your left foot, and the heel is going to track to the outside of your hips. You're not pulling it towards your butt. You're seeing if you can pull it around the side of your hip. I'm also kind of internally rotating my shoulder a bit here, and I'm pointing my fingertips to the front of my mat. That way I'm getting kind of like a 2-for-1, stretching my shoulders. All right, release your Bakasana on this side, other side. Oh, this shoulder. Again, heel wants to track around the side of your hip. Nice. All right, let's release. Give your legs a little break there. All right. 2 different options for our final kind of stretchy practice, okay? Either you can do another round of your floor bow. Maybe you were loving that. If you're craving a switch up, you can work camel or ustrasana. So our camel position, we're working on our knees, right? Hands support our low backs. Push. Maybe you're on some tuck toes and you're able to reach back for some heels. Now, only because I was working these yesterday and I was like kind of impressed with my depth after a workout. If you are wanting to do some kind of arm balance practice today, because maybe you feel really good and you just want to see where you're at, you can work for your Pinchamayurasana, right? I was doing some drops from Pincha into my forearm wheel yesterday. So again, lots of ways to play, okay? I'm just gonna fucking send it right now, I guess. Just to make sure it wasn't a fluke. And if you're not wanting to do any more hard back bends, or if you're just ready to counter, you can lay down on your back, pull your knees into your chest, okay? Definitely feeling sore in my shoulders. I'm not feeling like kicking back over. FYI. Also, that blanket is slippery. All right, other side for me. Trying to mentally prepare myself for side 2. Oh my goodness. Okay, I did it. All right, here's my counter position. I'm gonna go feet together, knees wide. If you want, you can lay down on your back, maybe happy babies, maybe plow position, that's always really nice. Plow, you basically lay on your back, feet go up towards the ceiling, and you pike over. Support your low spine, like through shoulder stand, and then take it over. Now to end class, I just want to tell all of you how happy I am, how proud I am, how grateful I am that we get to move our bodies together. It's so important, no matter what, whether, for women, for men, for whoever, to move your body, to connect with your core, and to do movement that is challenging for us, right? I'm reading a book right now that basically talks about the importance of doing hard things and how when we get into routines of familiarity and ease, we can become really complacent. And I'm really glad that this practice constantly challenges me, or at least I do practices that challenge me, because I don't ever want to be complacent. I do want to stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can, and I'm really grateful that I get to do this type of work for my living, for my life, and I get to share it with you all. So thank you so much for coming to this flow practice. Thank you if you're one of my supporters on Patreon. Truly, I couldn't do this without you guys, so thank you so much for doing just that, supporting me for as long or as little as you can. Well, if I don't see you guys Wednesday or Thursday on my Patreon classes, I will see you next week. Yeah? Thanks for joining me for this bendy flow today, a little stretchy business. I had fun. Be sure to hydrate. Stay hydrated. Aw, thank you, Stephanie. Hiccups. Thank you. So great to have you, my love. All right, my angels. This was lovely. I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. Had to stop and feed a new squirrel. I love that. You truly are our Disney princess, Nicolette. All right, my loves. So good to see you all and hear from you. Missed you all last week so much, so I'm glad to kind of be on our regular schedule. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming to the flow, And I look forward to seeing y'all next time, okay? All right, lovelies. Bye. See you next Monday if I don't see you Wednesday, Thursday.